Nathan, back-to-back wins for Stoke and Wales get through to the semi-finals of the World Cup. Can you reflect on what sort of weekend you had?
A lot more peaceful than normally and normal and relaxed. No, look, it's been a good weekend. All jokes aside, it was important that we backed up the win against Swansea. Because performance levels have been good lately. They have been. It's just as we said, we've been the architects of our own downfall, really. So it was important that we backed that up one with the result, but as much as important as that was the performance, and I thought we did that. Then obviously in terms of the added bonus was seeing the Welsh scrape into the semi-finals, but I said being in sport you take wins anytime you can.
Were your celebrations after that just the same as they were on Saturday?
No, slightly more muted. I said I had slightly more energy and thing on the Saturday night, and Sunday was more recovering in all aspects. When
you analyse the situation, how does a team that can't buy a win suddenly pick up 6 points in 2 games?
Because we believed we've been in a false position anyway. It's not like suddenly we've been hammered every week and suddenly from out of nowhere 2 performances come along. The performance levels have been there. It's just what we've stopped doing is making errors, big errors. And to anyone who's watched our games, I don't want to keep on about the stats, but we should have won. We've been the better side in 7 of the 12 games comfortably, and then apart from Leeds, the others have been marginal, and we've just lost out marginally. So we shouldn't be in the position we are if everything goes as it should. But we've made big errors. People have scored from their only chance. We've missed massive chances, and lots of them, and that's contributed to us losing games. Now there's a little bit more equilibrium in everything, and a little bit more sanity in how the games are panning out. We've created more than teams. We're conceding less, and then now getting results.
It seemed to be a victory that you really enjoyed on the pitch afterwards. Can you recall those emotions running high?
Yeah, look, and sometimes the crowd are absolutely outstanding. I've been like that at my previous club and so on. I want them to know that I care. I care. They haven't got a manager here that turns out and just does it for a job. This is a lifestyle. It's not a job. It's for me. I throw everything into it. I'm very passionate about the way we play, the way we work, and the way we do stuff. And sometimes that boils over into pure emotion. And I can't help that. I've been like that. I was like that as a player, but especially as a manager, because it's actually more important when you're a manager than that. So I make no apologies for it. I'm sorry if it offends anyone or anything, but it means a lot. It's my life.
I don't think offended. I think it was just a nice, touching moment. Was it in a way you saying thank you to the fans, because they've stuck with you through thick and thin, haven't they?
They've been brilliant, and they have. And it's not just a thank you, but it's actually a thing that I'm one of them, because Stokes and football clubs are in people's blood, and it's the most important thing sometimes. Family aside and stuff, it's the most important thing for people's week, and they come here and they expect something. So I think how important it is to them, how important it is to me, because it's actually my life. So I feel like they do, and I sometimes, when we score, I want to go mental, I want to scream, I want to jump around. I have to be slightly more refrained because I'm the manager of the club, but the emotions are there as a manager as they are as a fan, and I just want to make sure that they know that I have a real affiliation with them, because I feel like they do.
And what's the ripple effect this morning or yesterday morning at the training ground when you've suddenly got 6 points, the league table looks a little better?
Well, I think, look, the league table only slightly better, but I think it's what they're seeing now is what just fruits of what we've just kept preaching to them. We said if you stick at the thing, if you keep doing the work you do and you keep believing, everything will even out and you'll suddenly get what you deserve. And it won't just be suddenly because you've been lucky. No. We won't keep having a red card after we've dominated the first 12 minutes. We won't make a massive error which derails us when we're absolutely cruising. That won't happen every game. So just believe in the structure, believe in the work you do, be confident, and then when things do change, then hopefully that can be a platform, a springboard, and a start. And that's what we have. So in training today, there's a positivity there, but the positivity's actually been there. It's not been a real down group, because they've just been hit and they're just a bit flabbergasted, and that's where I've been. I've been more frustrated at results, not in despair, but I've just said, how does this keep happening?
How stretched and you talk about the belief, how stretched has that belief got? Because as results keep going against you, Did you ever get to a point where you did start to question your own belief?
Oh no, that doesn't happen. If you do, if suddenly you're not, you're banging your head against your brick wall and things are not happening, then you have to change certain things. Your belief doesn't waver because your belief has stood you in good stead. My belief has led me from 16 to 46, and being in football, my belief in things that I do, my ability, my certain sort of habits I have to, and now. We have a certain way of playing, we have a certain way of doing things. It's not systems, it's about we're doing stuff, and we haven't changed that because, as I said, statistically we've not been a bad side, and now things are starting to even out. Then hopefully now we can see the fruits of all our labour, because we came into it with great optimism. We got knocked and hit constantly, so we knew that wouldn't always continue, but the players have been magnificent, fair play to them, because they've believed, they've stuck at it. And it takes a lot of character, because the character's been questioned lots of times, but it takes a lot of character when you're playing well and when an error really derails you to then keep coming back, and they've had to keep coming back, and they've showed immense character.
You go to Sheffield Wednesday, another win would take you out of the bottom three possibly. How big a plus would that be psychologically? Is that the next target?
Well, I think the win is the most important thing, wherever it takes you, I think, because whether you go out of the bottom three or not, you start getting the points total that you want, and that's what we need to do now, is to look to, first of all, it's a very difficult place to go, Hillsborough, been there many occasions, both as a player and as assistant and as a manager, so it's a difficult place to go. They're a seasoned championship side, so we know that it's going to be a tough game, but what we have to do is, one, make sure that we turn up and put in a performance worthy of what we have been putting in, and then, God willing, we can get another win. Another win would be fantastic. I don't think there've been 3 wins on the trot here since 2016. I think 4 wins on the trot has been 2005 or 6, something like that. So we have to change a bit of history as well,
What's your record like as a player and a manager at Hillsborough?
Quite mixed, actually. I went there, it was actually my last game in charge of Luton before I came here. We drew them in the FA Cup and were excellent. We drew 0-0 on the day, so took them back to Kenilworth Road, and we were excellent on the day. As an assistant, I've drawn and won there. As a player, it was slightly tougher, because it was when they had come down to actually not too bad, but look, I'd sacrifice every single thing we had so far for a win tomorrow, so that's going to be the only one, this Port.
And an England-Wales final in the rugby?
As long as Wales are there, I don't really care. But, I think it'll be tough for both of them to come through. I think the All Blacks are possibly the best side in the tournament, and I'm not quite sure Wales are in the form at the minute to beat South Africa, but if it's an England-Wales final, England win, then what a day that'll be.
Thank you.
Nathan, how are we after Saturday? Any injuries, any problems?
No, look, we're in good shape again, in terms of things. Bruno Martin's Indy was actually ill on the weekend, but played through illness and was actually being sick at half time, actually, so he showed his character to come through that. So he's one we've had to evaluate, but there's a bit of stiffness, as you would expect from the shift they had to put in on the weekend, but look, they're ready to go, in a good place. We've got him in training today, and then we'll travel tomorrow, so we're not in a decent place in terms of bodies wise.
Presumably it's a lot about rest and recovery, because this is almost a 3-game week, and then you've got the 9 days obviously for the West Brom game. But how much did Saturday take out of the players, because they did so much work?
Look, it was any other championship game. I mean, we asked him to play it a certain way, and we were brave. We went after Fulham. We didn't sit off and try to be compact and stuff. We went after them until then we had to concede a little bit of territory. So yeah, it does. But games do. We're looking at anything from 10 to 12k of running, nearly 2k of high speed running in terms of what they do. So it's it's a big thing. And then they rest and recover and have to go again. But look, we've got, as I said, our sports science and medical department is fantastic. We've got 96% availability rate for training, so they're well conditioned.
You did actually say it would be great if you could play the same team for 3 successive matches, so hopefully it would be very difficult, illness, injury, maybe fitness apart, to change the team. I'm not going to ask you about that, but going back to the celebration after the game, have you watched it back?
I've been sent it a few times, but no, sometimes I don't watch it.
I just wondered how Scott Hogan was talking to you at the moment, because you slapped him really hard, Well,
look, we tend to build relationships with players, and I got a good relationship with a lot of them, and I didn't mean to. I think Carter Vickers I did exactly the same too, and he was a bit taken back, but look, sometimes it's emotion and things, and they know it. We're in a good place in terms of the relationship I have with them, and I thought Scott did superbly well when he came on. And I said, in terms of picking the same side, if I can pick the same side for the next 33 games, 34 games, I'd be delighted, because that means we've been having continuity in results. But the squad's important, and it's going to be important this week, and we do reiterate that to them. I said we do call them game changers, and we've got a real. It's taken a bit of time to have a total buy-in on that, because I think the level of player we had here when they weren't in the starting 11. It was a demotivating time for them, because they all felt that they should be playing, and look, rightly so, but you can only pick 11. So even now, we've got big players on the bench. Our bench is as strong as any. Our bench is probably a Premier League bench, and then when we're trying to keep those happy is a juggling act, and it's difficult, but it comes down to their intrinsic character and what they want to do, so that when we do need them, they come on with real. And even Sam Vos came on for about 3 minutes, but he went ahead, he's chased in the court, and he showed that for 3 minutes of a seasoned international buys into that ethos, and that's a good thing for a manager as well.
Last one from me. You've talked about the difficulties excuse me, and how you've had to get people to buy in when results weren't going as well as you'd hoped. You sometimes look at your own management team who've helped you tremendously. People like Andy, Kwai and Rory, have they had much to say in the changing room? Have they helped you a lot?
Look, I think all of them, to signal those two out, they've been here. Andy Kwai's been here and seen a lot of few managers, a real up and down time here in lots of ways. And Rory was a player there, so he understands the club and things. But I've got Paul Hart, who's pretty much seen everything in football, not quite everything, but the last season was an eye opener for him, so it ticked a few boxes as well. And then we've got a young, in terms of Joaquin's young and learning, but very, very shrewd in his tactical knowledge. And then Jared's as good as I know. Sports science-wise, our availability rate since they've come here goes through the roof. It's 96%, which is unheard of. Mm-hmm. So we've got good staff, and we've got a good balance and a blend of staff. Then I've got good owners who I speak to regularly. And then, the best thing about what they say about a good leader is if they can just get people that do every other job better than you, so you can just concentrate on that, and that's what they have. And it's hard to shout from the rooftops about certain things when results are not going well. You're a genius when you're winning, regardless of what you're doing, but we always believe in our work, and we've kept that as an equilibrium behind everything, so knowing that when results change we can then fall back on a very good spine and backbone, if you like, in the work that we do and everything. So that's at the minute coming to fruition.
Thank you, good luck.
I think you said a few months ago, probably only a few weeks ago, that the main engine room of the emerging Stoke City would be Badu, Madai and Peter Tabo. Has that been as much as a surprise for you, that those two, of all the players, are the main driving forces in the midfield?
Look, I think we've got an excellent midfield. I think all four of them that played on the weekend, for example, I think you won't, I think, without being disrespectful, Sheffield Wednesday got a good midfield and very seasoned in what they are. Fulham have got an excellent midfield. We come up against, I don't think there's many better midfielders than ours in the league. Sam Klukas has been a Premier League and Championship player and wonderful player. Joe Allen's a top international, and the other two, Peter and Badu, are both internationals. We have a wonderful midfield. So the only surprise is that, well, not surprised, but the joy for me is that we didn't get sufficient bids in the summer that meant that they had to leave. So the club was strong in that, and I'm pleased with that, because they're great characters as well, and good characters and good athletes and very good technical players. And that's why now that we've got everyone to choose from, because we didn't have that until probably the second week of September. Now we've got everyone to choose from, then we are, no coincidence, looking a better team.
If you were asked me what the possession rates, I think, for Stoke on Saturday's game, I'd have said 50-60%, which only shows perception can be very wrong. It was actually 22%, which I thought was quite shocking. But I would argue that that's far less important than the actual overall performance and the result. Would you agree with that? Look,
we've had possession. It depends what kind of team you are. We have, I would say, in 7-8 of the games, dominated possession in what we have. Fulham, we paid them the sufficient amount of respect, because they are a wonderful footballing side, but they build certain things on that. So what we had to do was we made sure that we had a game plan. We knew that they tried to control possession massively. They build for that. But we wanted to be more penetrative than them, and we were. So we knew that once we won it back, we would get opportunities to score. If we played within 2 passes quickly into our front, we'd know we'd get empty chances, and it proved. So game plan was good. So look, you can look at that, but as I've said, I've come here before and said statistically we've created 22 chances, 34 crosses, 60% of possession, and we've ended up losing the game 3-1 from a side that have had 34% of possession, side that have had 5 crosses, side that have had 3 chances, and we've lost 3-1. So the be all and end all is what you do with the possession you have, and on Saturday we were excellent, and that was the game plan. We would have liked to have slightly more. I don't think it was as low as that. I think if you look at the stats, the actual stats, it was probably around about 50, 59, 41 sort of thing. But I thought we were excellent on the weekend. Defensively sound, tactically really good, and then we had a real threat, and that's why we picked the side we did.